Welcome back to our channel. Today we will bring to viewers the exciting and dramatic developments of the movie Beyond the Gates. Today's shocking story is revealed that Bill was shocked when he discovered Hayley's infertility test results. Please follow the exciting developments above. Bill never thought that his life could turn in such a cruel direction. From a confident man, in control of all aspects of his life, he suddenly fell into a deep silence when he held in his hand the test results of Hayley. The woman he loved, the person he once thought would build a perfect family with him. The cold words "permanent infertility" printed on the paper were like a heavy blow to his heart, not only because his dream of having a child was extinguished, but also because the secrets began to surround and question everything he had believed in for so long. Bill remembered every moment since he and Hayley had started planning their future. They had talked about their children, about breakfasts with laughter, about late nights rocking them to sleep. Hayley had always seemed eager, but there was something in her eyes that made him uneasy. Now that the truth was out, he began to see all the little things he had missed, the times she had avoided routine checkups, the half-hearted answers when he mentioned having children, the silent tears in the middle of the night that he had thought were due to work stress. The silence that had lingered between them after the results had been revealed had been heavy. Bill not only felt hurt, he felt betrayed. He didn't blame Hayley for not being able to have children, it was never her fault, but he couldn't forgive her for hiding it from him for so long. Trust was torn apart, and questions began to rise like a storm. If Hayley knew she couldn't have children, why did she agree to make plans with him? Had she intended to deceive him from the beginning? The more Bill thought about it, the more he couldn't stop. In a moment of weakness, he looked for the medical records Hayley had kept in her safe, something he had never dared to do before. What he found only made things more chaotic. An old note with scribbled handwriting, referring to a surgery at a private hospital abroad, many years before they met. There was no reason on the paper, only the case number and the doctor's name. It seemed that Hayley had experienced something extremely serious. A medical event that could have completely changed her fate. But why did she hide it? And why did she choose to pretend that nothing had happened? Bill decided that he could not stand still. He contacted the hospital listed in the records, pretending to be a relative to ask for information. After many refusals, he finally received a medical report sent in a sealed envelope. When he opened it, he was almost stunned. Hayley had been pregnant. Not only that, she had been forced to have an abortion under extremely dangerous circumstances, leading to complications that made her unable to have children. And the name attached to the maternity records was none other than Lucas, the ex-lover that Hayley had never wanted to mention. Now, everything suddenly seemed clearer but also more confusing. Lucas, the powerful, ruthless man who once haunted Hayley's life, is the reason her dream of becoming a mother was shattered forever. Not only a mistake from her youth, Lucas still seems to exist like a dark shadow that threatens her current life. Bill begins to understand that Hayley's pain is not only physical, but also the oppression that has lasted for many years, when she had to live in guilt, in fear, and in guilt. But if Lucas is the reason Hayley lost the ability to have children, does he still have any influence on her now? Bill begins to investigate, and the deeper he goes, the more he discovers that Lucas has not disappeared as Hayley once claimed. He is working secretly in a shady financial investment organization, an organization that Bill's company has recently been involved in. This means that everything may not be just a coincidence. Did Lucas know where Hayley was? Was he somehow trying to get to her through Bill? Or was it all part of a plan that Bill was completely unaware of? Doubt burned fiercely. Bill felt like he was falling into a maze of lies, where each step brought a new layer of mask to be peeled off. Hayley. Hayley. The woman he once believed to be a crystal-clear mirror of trust and sincerity, now appears as a complex mystery. Bill begins to recall the times when Hayley tried to avoid the past. The moments when she became unusually quiet whenever Lucas was mentioned. It is no longer a coincidence. Everything seems calculated, carefully hidden in a perfect disguise, the shell of a strong, loving, and perfect woman that no one can doubt. Bill's mind gradually becomes chaotic. He cannot stop the biggest question that is surrounding him. Does Hayley really love him? Or is she just running away from the ghosts of the past, choosing him as a safe haven? And if she knew all along that she could not have children, why did she still let him dream of a perfect family? What could make a woman like Hayley, with all her intelligence and courage, choose to hide such a cruel truth? The restlessness made Bill unable to sit still. He went to Hayley's personal doctor, the only person who could understand the treatment process and the reason why she had never told him the truth. But that doctor, after many times refusing to answer, finally gave a gentle but suggestive advice. There are pains so great that not everyone has the courage to share. Sometimes, silence is the only way to survive. Those words kept ringing in Bill's head. He began to feel his heart being torn in two. On one side was the feeling of betrayal. On the other side was the pity for the woman who was struggling to cope with the old wound, a wound that not only left scars on her body but also tore at every corner of her soul. While Bill was still reeling, an unexpected event occurred. Hayley suddenly disappeared from the house, without a single message. The phone was unreachable. There were no signs of withdrawals from the bank account, and all the important personal belongings were still there. Only one thing sent a chill down Bill's spine: an old photo of Hayley and Lucas was torn in half, the part with Lucas's face missing. That made him understand that this disappearance was not random. She was running away. But from what? Bill immediately called the police and hired a private investigation team to track down Hayley. During the investigation, they discovered that the security camera of a small hotel recorded Hayley's image on the evening of her disappearance. She was not alone. A man in a dark coat and hat was with her and made a coercive, almost manipulative gesture. The man's face was not clear, but Bill did not need to look closely. He knew. Was it all just the beginning of a revenge plan that had been planned for a long time? And why had Hayley not asked for his help, but let herself fall into the hands of the man who had ruined her? Unwilling to wait, Bill began to follow Lucas's trail. During his search, he discovered a secret network that hid the illegal activities Lucas was involved in. Under the guise of an investor, Lucas had built a human trafficking organization, controlled information, and threatened those who had betrayed him. And Hayley, who had dared to denounce him before disappearing from his life, was now in his sights. Bill knew that if he didn't act this time, Hayley might never return. He and his team broke into a suburban warehouse that had been used as a transit point for Lucas's operations. There, they found a locked room where there were signs that someone had been held captive recently. On the wall, a scrawled line written in dried blood made everyone's skin crawl: "I didn't run away. I was forced to come back." The words were like a last wish. And that made Bill crazier than ever. He decided to approach Lucas's lair, regardless of the danger. When he faced him, what Bill received was not a normal confrontation, but a declaration. Bill and Hayley entered a battle not only legal but also a tearful struggle to regain parental rights to the child they had never known. Each day, they faced the most brutal challenges together. Plots to harm them, psychological attacks, and even hidden threats from Lucas and his gang. But it is their love and determination that becomes an unbreakable force, connecting the broken pieces that seem impossible to repair. Bill began to collect evidence of Lucas's crimes and the underground organization behind him. Hayley, despite her weakness, still continued to support Bill in every way, including meeting people who had been threatened by Lucas to get testimony. Step by step, they built an elaborate lawsuit, strong enough to overthrow the brutal underground forces that were holding back their lives. Finally, in a tense and long trial, the truth was revealed to justice. Lucas and his accomplices could not deny the solid evidence. They were severely sentenced, paying the price for the crimes they had committed. Bill and Hayley's child was also officially brought back under the care of their parents, ending a long journey full of tears and challenges. The dream of a complete home is no longer a distant dream. Bill and Hayley, after all, have found the happiness they thought they had lost forever. But that doesn't mean their story ends here. The wounds of the past, the dark patches in their souls, are still there, requiring them to continue walking together, with faith and undying love. If you want to follow this emotional and dramatic journey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the latest updates. Each episode will bring unexpected surprises and twists, making it impossible for you to take your eyes off. Let's join and explore the story of Bill and Hayley, where love and truth always triumph over all darkness.